Hello and welcome. You're listening to Marketing Matters on the Wharton Podcast Network, our weekly podcast where we analyze the latest in advertising, marketing, customer behavior, new product launches, branding, retailing. I'm Barbara Kahn, the Patty and J.H. Becker Professor of Marketing, and I'm joined by my co-host, Americus Reed, the Whitney M. Young Jr. Professor of Marketing and the Brand Identity Theorist. Hello, Americus.
Hi, Barbara. Okay, so I was talking to my 14-year-old, Zora Fabiana Reed. And
I know her.
you know her. She's been on the program. And she is fiercely into skincare, in the beauty
I know
space.
she
You know
is.
this.
And she's beautiful skin.
Oh, I love it. You know what she asked me? She said, Daddy, I want a gift. And I said to her, you know what I'm going to do because I'm affiliated with the Wharton School? I'm going to bring in the number one beauty company in the world. That's number one. And then point number two, from a HR and talent perspective, because she might be interested in working at one of these companies, I'm going to also potentially bring in the company that does the number one youth innovation event in the world.
Ooh.
And I'm going to get Dad credit for this. So what have we got today that we are super excited about?
We are so lucky to have here with us in the studio, which is really fun to be in person like this, Adam Kornblum, who's the Chief Creative Officer for U.S. brands at L'Oreal. And I have to say, Adam has been on the show before.
Yes.
He really knows marketing matters.
He does.
And he knows his marketing. And
Yes.
he's the most creative guy we've had in a really
100%.
long time.
And if
You
just
must not be on every day.
and if you just
Adam, we are so psyched to have you.
Dude,
welcome.
You're totally cool. I'm just going to give you some props to start off here.
Well, this is great.
Dude, you are like a brand yourself. The jewelry, when I saw you.
I noticed you took yours out.
You know what? I'm telling you, we gotta level up, man.
Yeah, no, I love it.
So we are excited to have you here, and we want to pick your brain for the next 24
and let
minutes.
us tell you why. It's
Yeah.
so exciting to have him here.
Mhm.
He drives disruptive creativity across 17 brands. But what's cool about him is he started the first in-house guerrilla marketing creative agency. Previously, he was the senior vice president and global head of digital marketing at CeraVe. And we talked about that with him last year, but that is such a cool campaign. We got to talk about it again.
Definitely.
First of all, tell us what it means, guerrilla marketing creative. Why did you start that? What's going on with that?
Yeah. So, I think especially in this traditional atmosphere that we're in, traditional advertising, the idea is how do we disrupt, especially a big company, right, like L'Oreal with all these big brands. We really can't do things the same way. We have scale, but in order to really disrupt, we need to do guerrilla social media type of marketing. But if we had a brand, we were starting $100,000, right? We would choose to do some stuff that would really build buzz, that would really drive word of mouth. And I think that it's important that no matter how big you get, you remember that, right? So you kind of want like imagination to meet budget. And I think that that's really the goal.
And what's cool about you is that even though you have what looks on paper like a pretty traditional background, you came to it in different ways. Like, for instance, before you got here at L'Oreal, you were at Ogilvy, which is one of the biggest advertising agencies in the world. And I would think, traditional marketing, that's Ogilvy. But that's not how you got to Ogilvy, right? You came through a different door.
No, it's true. Yeah, no, I started as an entrepreneur. I was in college, senior, supposed to go to law school. And I remembered that I added credit cards to the game Monopoly when I was like 8 years old. And I mentioned it to some like finance guy, and I was a philosophy guy. So I was like, when I met this person, I was really scraping for a conversation to have with this finance guy because I'm like philosophy.
Yeah.
And I like dug as deep as I can go and then remembered that I added credit cards to Monopoly. And I said it, and he was like, we're going to be going through a credit crisis. Like, you should think about doing this. So I go back to school and I Google like credit card game. And I see that Visa came up with the Game of Life with Hasbro, but it was a debit card game. So everyone was like, oh, kids, they're just trying to get their brand in front of everyone. They're not even teaching. Yeah. So I was like, oh, wow, I could take this credit card game, take American Express's like gold, platinum, black card system, put it on a game, sell it to Amex for $300 million. That was like my thought as a senior in college.
Gotcha.
Didn't necessarily happen. The $300 million or American Express part. But however, my first
The game part happened.
The game part happened. But when I pursue this, I graduate, supposed to go to law school. And so I build a business plan. I read about how to file some like trademarks and copyrights and, do all this stuff. And then I'm
That's
like,
the law school background.
the law school, yeah. I was like, I can get into law school. I could be a lawyer. You know, like I could do this. I got this. I just read a book. So my first move was actually to call the CEO of American Express. So I lived like an hour away from New York City. I drive down to American Express because I figured if like I'm in the lobby, I won't just take no for an answer when I call. So I call the back of the Platinum card and I'm like, hi, can I please speak to Ken Chanel? He was the CEO at the time. And they're like, huh? You know? So I like kind of kept going. And then they're like, I'm sorry, sir. No. Then I was like, oh, you know, I said a few more things. They put me on hold. And I was like, they're asking somebody.
Wow.
Like I think I can like pull this off. So I'm like, please tell whoever you asked that I have the refute to Visa's Game of Life. And I get put through. So
Wow.
like his personal assistant gets on and he's like, all right, so like, what do you got? Give him the elevator pitch. And he's like, do you want to like send something over? And I was like, yo, I'm downstairs. I'll send it up. So I was like, I feel like Jason Bourne. You know?
I'm in the lobby.
Yeah, I'm in the lobby. Like, you know, it's also like 15. Like this was like not appropriate, but back then it was like,
Hustle, man.
yeah, it was a hustle.
Yeah, it's hustle.
So I knew at that point I probably had like 3 weeks before American Express was like, sorry, kid.
Gotcha.
Life doesn't come that easy.
Oh.
So I started calling like billionaires and like millionaires and being like, I'm in talks with American Express, which was in theory true.
Right.
So I land this meeting with this billionaire. He passed away. His name was Charles Wang. He co-founded Computer Associates. So I get this meeting. I mean, it took like 40 calls every day.
Yeah.
So I scored this meeting with him, and it was my first business meeting, like in the real world. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I read all of his books, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to tailor my presentation to the chapters of his books, you know, and like try to mirror his language a little
Oh,
bit.
good thinking.
It's
That's
the-
marketing.
It's the only thing I knew how to do, you know. It's like, I mean, I read about how to do that, you know. And so I get this meeting, I meet with him, and he's like, all right, so like, what do you need from me? This is a life lesson that whenever someone powerful and rich says, what do you need from me? You just have an answer. You know what I mean? like you just throw out a number. It doesn't make a difference. And I'm like, I need you to make some phone calls. You know, remember, I'm a kid. Okay, like I just graduated. I just need someone to help me out. And he's like, well, listen.
What a waste of
He's like, if you ever need any money, come back to me. So I left just being like, this is so strange, you know? Like, this went so good, but so
weren't
wrong at the same
prepared,
time.
yeah.
Understood.
Like, I don't get it. Like, I mean, I was right there.
Right there.
And then, so I leave just being like, I just need a billionaire, but not for money, clearly, because I would have asked for it if I had any brains.
Right.
But just for social capital.
Social capital.
So I decide, like, I was reading about Howard Hughes, Walt Disney at the time, and I was like, you know, if Howard Hughes was alive today, like, what would his MySpace look like? And like, who better to come out with like a new credit card game than a billionaire to like try to fix the planet, the world, some martyr mission. So I create this fictitious billionaire, build all these websites, like hack Google. At the time, like if you Googled Monopoly, you found like this billionaire trying to save the credit crisis, you know? And yeah, amassed millions of followers. MySpace was big at the time, so this was like a hot minute ago.
Understood.
Yeah, and the CEO of Hasbro gets wind of the billionaire. This was on
This
purpose.
fake billionaire.
Yeah, yes, he was. So, but the
And did you answer the phone as the fake billionaire?
So actually, the fake billionaire actually had a personal assistant. You know, so it was like a universe. It was just me and my best friend. That like we just went down this hole. Like the personal assistant's name was Jamie Sky with 2 Y's. Like don't know how we got there.
This is great.
But yeah, it was pretty fascinating. But throughout like the journey, it was pretty crazy to like, you know, meet with different people. And yeah, so the CEO of Hasbro gets wind of it on Facebook, and we have a conversation, and he invites us in, and they acquire the game. All in like 9-10 months. And I had literally no idea what I was doing. So that was like a really cool start. Pretty
cool.
surreal, you know?
And that is what you mean by guerrilla marketing, right?
Yes. I mean, like social, right? Like anything we could do. Like we were taking, like, you know, when you see like you're driving by like on a parkway and you see a sign, it's like vote for blank. You know, like we were just actually picking up those, putting white pieces of paper on top of them and then printing out our own stuff. So we weren't even buying new ones. You know, we were
loving
it. And putting them everywhere. We were getting like cease and desist letters from towns in like New York. It was awesome.
So-
When we got a cease and desist, we were like, "Yo, they're noticing us." You know,
That's your KPI.
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
start getting
yeah.
cease and desist.
Yeah.
No, but so like I know we talked about this a little last year, but I do want to build on it just because it was such a huge success.
Yes.
So you took that same kind of idea, which is crazy in my opinion. This whole story is ludicrous, but you did it with CeraVe.
Yes.
I mean, it's so like you're telling us that story because it's this idea
Yes.
of the creative way of approaching something,
Yes.
and it can yield real results. So
Yeah.
tell us quickly, like the intuition behind CeraVe. I mean, now it's been a while. Like
Yeah.
when it happened, which was I think the Super Bowl of 2024 is when it was really
yes,
big.
yes.
I remember at the time everybody knew this campaign. I
Yeah.
mean, really everybody. It was so well known because you were in the right place at the right time with a crazy, silly idea.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
But it matches this, and this
Yes.
is what you mean by guerrilla marketing
Yeah.
versus right.
You know, I think that all too often, like we just don't realize that if we don't have a story, just create one. And I think that that's
Make it up.
no, but that is what marketing is, right? Like it's imagination, it meets reality,
Yeah.
and like you get people to believe something, or they want to believe something. And I think like for CeraVe at the time with the Super Bowl, it was like, well, how do we create a story that actually owns the Super Bowl before the Super Bowl even starts? And I think it was like, what's the story we can tell? And one of the ideas was, all right, well, we want to
So
we want to say that.
I mean, when you say
I know.
it's just
As she
a
hears
crazy
it, she's
idea.
like, wow.
So-
Because-
Yeah. So I mean, I guess like principally speaking, Michael Cera saying that he developed CeraVe, which was CeraVe's actually developed with dermatologists, obviously.
Which
duh.
he clearly didn't develop.
Which right, clearly didn't develop it. I suppose like plays on this fictitious storytelling.
Right.
But it's immersive, and people, and like we love being told stories. Like it doesn't change.
Yeah.
So it was like, all right, well, how do we bring people into a bigger story?
Yeah.
But I think what really worked, which is the same thing with this made up billionaire, idea, is that it wasn't like you were fooling people.
No,
People
oh, yeah.
knew that Michael Cera did not
Oh, yeah.
invent CeraVe.
It was incredible.
I mean, but that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It's such a good story,
Yes.
And I think that's kind of the guerrilla aspect of it. Like
Yeah.
that, maybe that's what you mean by developing this at L'Oreal now.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, I think it's really at the heart, it's like disruptive storytelling where you're like, I want to pay attention to that. I'm curious. I'm intrigued. I want to follow along. And I think at the heart, that's truly the goal because we're like in this attention economy.
Yeah.
So how do we get attention?
Right.
And then you're not going to get attention just like doing what everyone else does.
And
That's
saying
correct.
the obvious
That's
stuff. You
correct.
got to say
So-
something. I mean, Michael Cera, I remember at the time, like, he wasn't a social media star.
He doesn't even have
He
social
doesn't
media.
have
Wait,
a-
he doesn't even have social media. Okay.
It was such a ludicrous choice, and the only reason was CeraVe, Michael Cera.
But
That
but
was
the amazing
connection.
part about that is it's a great lesson because him not having social media was like, okay, we need to build a story around him and get people to talk about it around him.
Yeah.
Whereas I think a lot of brands, when they have like a big spokesperson, they go, all right, our spokesperson's going to post.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And sometimes they stop there where it's like, our spokesperson can't post
Right.
because he doesn't have social media. He doesn't have a smartphone,
He's
So,
not on the internet. But,
know?
And he didn't invent the product.
and he didn't invent the
he
product.
didn't invent the product.
But
True.
what I loved about that story, though, was part of the reason CeraVe is a great brand, and it's part of your positioning,
Yeah.
is because it was invented by the right people, dermatologists, not Michael Cera.
Exactly.
I mean, and that's why this crazy story.
Yeah.
It was crazy like a fox, but I don't know how much was deliberate or lucky or whatever. But it was crazy
super
like
deliberate.
Super
Yeah.
deliberate.
Super deliberate.
Yeah, and I think a big point here.
Yeah.
I think a big point here is the idea that because what we're talking about here is not creating a gimmick. That's something else.
No,
Totally.
it's
we're
not
talking.
a
We're
gimmick.
talking.
We're talking about
something that-
deep thought.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, so the more
yeah.
you actually pull back, like the messaging just keeps getting
it
deeper.
gets
Yeah.
and
better
deeper
and
deeper.
better. I
Yes.
mean, that was
Yeah.
what was so good about this
Yeah.
campaign.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, creativity or whatever you said, craziness, I forget
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
what
yeah.
you said, meets big budget.
Yeah.
When you get to Super Bowl, that's
Yeah.
big budget.
Yeah.
So now
Imagination
you
plus
take
budget.
this
Yeah.
idea
Yes,
and you
yes,
scale it.
Once you become bigger and you have a budget, it's easy to rely on the budget.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. Like we're all here every day. You start making a few dollars and you're like, oh, okay, I forgot that maybe what $5 feels like when that's all I have.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a good reminder of how do you take $100,000 and make it feel like $5 million.
I love that.
You know, and I think like that's like a huge thing that I don't think we think about often enough. So I don't know if you have ever heard of Juicy Tubes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Wait a minute.
lip gloss.
Well, like, with juicy tubes, where's this going? It's not what you think.
So it is a lip gloss, but
lip gloss.
but that's cool.
You've heard
But
it,
here's
you-
the thing.
Oh.
Well, I was gonna say. So the reality is, if you've heard of it, it might be because maybe you've kissed a lot of people that have had juicy tubes, and you're like, that's a better kiss.
Oh, well,
Right?
Wait, hold on. Anna.
So I mean,
Wait a
so
second.
right now,
Wait a
I'm just
second.
saying,
He's
like,
giving you more
there's
credit
kind
than
of like
maybe
there's
you
a
deserve
stud
in that
vibe, I
case.
There's a
suppose.
stud
going
Bible.
on.
See,
Yeah.
I don't know about. I'm too busy in Bible studying. I don't know about all this kissing people. I don't know. I'm just.
Right.
But
Totally.
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
It was a vibe.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Yes,
Yeah.
1000%. So this was really, really popular in the 2000s.
Yeah.
So the ask was like, how do we make it cool again?
Yeah.
Right. So the thinking was so obviously there's a nostalgia, and it would be easy just to pick some people who were really popular back then.
Yeah.
But we were thinking, okay, like let's pick some popular people at the same time. Let's change the narrative, right? Like from a guy's perspective, maybe, Ed Westwick, Chuck Bass from Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
Maybe he remembers all those kiss scenes because he remembers like everyone putting on juicy tubes.
Yeah.
Putting on like that lip gloss and the flavor and the taste, and the stickiness. Like that's what, what he remembers.
Right.
And yeah, in fact, he remembered. And it got crazy engagement.
Interesting.
Right? Like super mega millions of like organic views. I mean, there was a lot of layers and a lot of different, celebrities who took part. But, like nostalgic celebrities like him. And also just not what you'd expect.
Gotcha.
So I also think that's part of it. It's the
Yeah.
unexpected.
The unexpected. But now here's something I'm going to throw out there, Barbara, because we've been talking about, when this goes wrong. A Cracker Barrel example. When there's legacy and you
Okay.
try to move it forward and you fail fast. So I love the idea. Like, what's the decision?
Well, I mean, I
calculus
think
to-
the Cracker Barrel story is the exact opposite of what he's talking
But that's
about.
what I'm saying.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
that
But
very
the
much.
intent was the same. The intent was to say, hey, we need to talk. We need to bring this forward. We need to modernize
Yeah,
this
but
and make
they
it
didn't
cool
build
again.
on the authentic storytelling.
yeah,
They didn't-
exactly.
What I like, when you look at him, when he tells these stories, you could see he's getting in these people's heads.
Well,
It's like, and
that's
that's
the thing.
like what you
It's
were
not
saying.
like, and I think this is where disruptive marketing, right? There's a fine line, right? Of just like throwing a brick through a window and being like, I'm disruptive. And it's like, okay, well now you're getting arrested, So that's a little too far. So, so there's a fine line between like being just disruptive for disruptive sake,
Yes.
and having true intention,
Yeah.
and storytelling and purpose
Storytelling.
behind it. And this is really like, what we're trying to do.
Wow, that's incredible.
One of the things we talked about at lunch with you, because we went to lunch before,
was a great
was
lunch.
like,
Thank you.
yeah, it was a great lunch.
was
Was
fantastic.
that part of what you like, I think, at L'Oreal, or what people said at lunch, was that you've got this entrepreneurial culture
Yes,
there.
yes.
And I think that's part of what you're saying too. But you're a really big company. You have all these brands, all this stuff.
Yes.
How do you allow this kind of entrepreneurial creativity to flourish and not get crushed by corporate goals and
Honestly, like the super seniors, they really believe in this like creativity. They really, really do. Like they're brand marketers at heart.
At heart.
There's a saying that's like, "Sees what it started," and like the French culture and like the entrepreneurial way of
Right.
how L'Oreal started and where we are today.
Right.
I mean, like when it comes from the top that this is what's expected,
Yeah.
then it really, this is the culture we're in. We need to be disruptive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, why this is all transpiring.
But one of the ways is to connect with young aspiring creatives to offer their ideas in some sort of, and bring them into the fray, if you will, and to think about creating a collective community and environment where people can offer up their ideas, maybe in teams,
Yes.
and to
so it's
potentially.
kind of like an incubator,
It's
but
kind-
on
it's-
a
but
Yes.
on a super
grand
scale,
scale.
creative
Yeah.
level.
So we're talking about Brandstorm.
Brandstorm. Is that what we're talking? Ladies and gentlemen,
We're talking
we are
about
talking about
Brandstorm.
Brandstorm.
Yes,
Adam,
we
could
are.
you, can we
That was
quickly-
you teed that up.
Dude.
I mean, everyone was just like,
Dude, I'm a
They
pro.
were like
Listen.
drooling, like, what is this thing?
How do they do it?
Yeah,
how do they get
do it?
this
It's exciting.
entrepreneurial creativity
plugged
culture
in, right?
at scale
At
at
scale,
L'Oreal?
infused.
Yeah, and really, so it's
All right,
Yes.
just
All right, let's
tell
talk-
people what it is.
Yeah,
so
let's
what
talk about
is
the
it?
global
Start from
competition.
how it's
Yeah,
done.
so global
Then we'll get to your
competition.
judge
Yes,
status.
yes.
well, but it's all intertwined.
It's all
Okay.
it's all
Right.
connected. Yes, it is.
Because basically these teams
guys
are
see the
pitching
story.
ideas, right, to change the future of a category.
yes.
Do they get a sentence to start with?
Yes,
Or, and
yes,
then do
but-
they have to do it for a particular brand, or how does all
So
that
they'll
work?
get a sentence to circle, that they'll message around. But yes, so there will be something
Yeah.
like a category that
Okay.
the intent will be you and your team
Yep.
change it.
Yep.
Whether that's,
Wow.
a new product or a crazy campaign.
Change it. That's
Campaign.
that the
Change
mandate
it.
kind of take the brand by storm. Is that the
Take
idea?
Disrupt it.
Ooh. Take the brand.
Wait a second.
Everyone got that?
Oh, hold on, Barbara. You don't.
Wait, do
you
you
don't
work in
typically-
marketing?
I'm telling you, she's a guru. She is a Jedi. It's mind tricks over here. It's a brand that's this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
and it's
But
brands,
that is the idea, right?
That's the
1,000%.
idea.
But
1,000%.
but you can feel like this is the entrepreneurial culture.
Gotcha.
Right? Like going, okay, like anybody. Doesn't
Right.
matter who you are.
Gotcha.
Any age.
Gotcha.
I mean, obviously to a point.
Right.
Um,
Right.
And like we want to hear amazing ideas.
Interesting.
And we want to make them happen.
Correct.
And there's something special about that.
So there's a national competition of teams.
Yes.
Teams of 3.
Yes.
All college students.
All
Yes.
college students. Give me the age range. 18 to 30.
Yeah, because and I do know this because you were saying if you use some of our products,
telling you.
maybe you can look a little younger,
I'm
and
tell-
you would
I'm-
be,
I'm
and
going
you
to
were going to
start-
try to pretend like
I'm
you were a
gonna try to
student.
do it.
Never
I'm
Right,
gonna
right,
try
right.
to
I
sneak
nearly,
it.
I almost
here to
forgot
tell
that
you,
this was the whole
Americus, I don't
joke.
care
Of,
what
18 to
product,
30.
You're not passing front.
Listen,
and
okay, that's fine. I will. I'm going to coach at least one of the teams, maybe 5.
31.
yeah, no, one.
So they come-
I'd be a little disappointed.
But
I'm just saying, like, I
the
expect
t-
to see you.
Exactly.
All right,
Undergrad
all right.
teams,
So-
18 to 30.
Yes.
The official competition or the proposal starts November 3rd, I
November 3rd.
believe.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Perfect. And so as many how many applications? A ton of people try for this. This is a big
Thousands
deal.
and thousands. It's a big deal.
Thousands and
Yes.
thousands. This is the #1 youth innovation event in the world.
Yes.
Okay. It's been going on for how much? 30 years? Something like that. Adam's like, yeah, at least 30.
No, I mean, I'm not going to give. I'm not going to give some. Any,
It's like my point.
I mean, no,
is-
it's. I mean, I was a judge actually a few years ago.
Very nice.
So I
Let
mean,
me ask you. You're a judge, so how do you win? What are you looking for?
amazing.
What did the
Amazing.
By the way, it's
Disruptive ideas.
storm.l'oreal.com.
Ooh. Say it again, sir.
Storm.l'oreal.com.
Storm.l'oreal.com. That's the official
checking.
sort of the portal to put your teams into. Okay.
November
And
3rd.
what you're
November
looking
3rd.
for is come up with something
Um,
to change your brand.
ch- yeah,
Amazing.
to-
and the
to
criteria
change the
are
category.
be amazing.
Okay. We have an edit, ladies and gentlemen. Brandstorm. Okay.
Yeah, just for the record, I read the underline.
You have broken through the fourth wall.
No,
Get
okay.
out of here.
So for the record,
For the record,
I knew it sounded wrong, but literally it says underline storm.l'oreal.com, and I'm like,
That's
you know
funny.
what? Like I'm just kind of peeking here.
That's funny. It's like okay.
So
it's one of these.
I think we can leave it in,
Okay.
but like, and I think everyone
we
will
shall
appreciate
do the recorrection
that I got-
right now. Tell us that.
It is.
It is.
Okay, let me say this
I think
one
this
more
is a
time.
creative way to get people to pay attention.
That's right. Say
Yeah.
it wrong first.
So
and
honestly,
then correct it.
wait. We
Right.
need to buy storm.l'oreal.com and also forward it. So for anyone who's listening and then stop listening, but maybe he's listening again.
Right.
Okay.
Right, because this
There
is
was an
authentic.
underlining
This is guerrilla
problem.
marketing.
Also, I guess I'm just an idiot for not being able to remember brandstorm.l'oreal.com.
Yes.
I mean, geez.
Yes.
You know.
Brandstorm.l'oreal.com, November 3rd.
You would think one could
teams
remember
of
such a
3,
thing.
18
You guys
to
make me
30.
nervous.
We're sorry. This is exciting. You know, we're gonna put together teams at Penn and other schools, lots of schools. There's a competition that happens nationally.
Yes.
And then the winner of the national competition goes on to the global competition.
Yes.
Which is in
Which is in
Patty.
Paris.
Yeah. We don't say S's.
Wow. You know,
I've learned this.
Paris.
Paris.
Was that good? Is my French good?
I feel like you're really good at this.
I'm telling you. I'm trying.
Yeah, the
to
way
do
you
it
said
for-
L'Oreal before, can you?
I will do it for the
Yeah,
fans.
just try.
Only for my fans.
Yeah.
L'Oreal.
Ooh. When you way you say it, you know. I mean, it's pretty good.
It's
Pretty good.
It's good, no?
and that's all. That's pretty much all the guidance you give them. Just like
Yeah. Oh, let it be free.
Oh, this
right?
is an open brief.
Open.
This
brief.
is an entrepreneurial thing. We're not looking to be like here.
Yep.
Got it wrong again.
Oh dear. What's this? Oh dear. We're getting all kinds of help here, ladies. I know.
Nobody's
You know?
in that room.
No, I know. Wow.
In the
Ladies and
future.
gentlemen, we have a current and new event update.
Okay.
News.
The news
This
is
just
breaking.
in,
So
yeah.
at this show, we break the news like in real
guess.
time.
I
Yeah.
guess.
And,
So obviously it hasn't been up on the website yet, and I think it's being plugged into the website while we speak, which is why I'm getting these papers.
This is
But-
what guerrilla marketing is.
This is what
Right.
it is.
What we're looking for. Now I'm going to tell you for real.
Got it.
Okay, because I knew the whole time. I just wanted to see if you were paying
That's
attention.
right.
Because
That's another.
you know, everyone. I wanted to see if actually the team was paying attention.
Yep. It's a good.
But they
mindset.
are.
They are.
We're looking for
Yes.
scalability,
Scalability,
feasibility,
feasibility,
sustainability,
sustainability,
Innovative.
Innovative.
So those are the guidelines you refused to give us before.
Which I think also means amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I suppose in
Those
my
4
mind,
things.
amazing was that.
Those 4 things
Yeah.
equals amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
But
interesting.
I mean, those aren't that limiting. So like,
Yeah, I think I could have gotten away with
with
amazing.
amazing.
You know?
Just
So,
an umbrella
like,
term.
you know, like, I don't know how I feel about all
But
this.
here on the Marketing Matters program, we are into the details. So we will give the details. So that's fine.
It is important.
Yes.
It is
and
important.
This is awesome. This is going
Yeah.
to be an incredible event.
So it's Brandstorm.
Brandstorm.
L'Oreal.
Yep.
.com.
Yep. And as a matter of fact, there's an event tonight, right? With Adam will be speaking to the students
Yes.
here at Penn.
Okay,
Wharton
can
School.
you tell us some of your brands?
Yeah, talk
Rating
us
all
through, because you
period.
are running
Just,
the whole thing,
yeah,
man. It's
we're
really cool.
running out of time, but
Yep.
tell us some of the U.S. brands, because people may not know the
Yeah.
brands
Oh
in
my
the
God,
U.S.
yeah.
that L'Oreal owns, because you're
yeah.
a house of brands. You're not
Yeah,
a
no, so
branded house.
I'm just going to tell you. I mean, we
Okay.
have 38 brands.
38.
I actually think we just acquired. So we
Might be 39.
I mean, like, this number grows.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have Maybelline, Kiehl's, Lancome, CeraVe, obviously, SkinCeuticals, La Roche-Posay. Let's see, Ralph Lauren fragrance. There's so many. Hold on.
I have
And
some. Urban
SNL,
Decay.
Urban
Red-
Decay. Yeah, It Cosmetics.
Ooh.
I'm just kind of going.
Essie.
This is nice.
I said Essie.
Oh, you said it. I'm sorry.
But I mean, but that's solid that you said it again.
I like it.
Now everybody will
Essie's
remember.
a very cool brand.
This guy's
Yeah.
such a
But
pro.
what's cool about these brands is they're all so different. They have such
Yes.
identity.
It's amazing,
They're
yeah.
like,
Amazing.
and they have such legacy.
Yes.
Legacy. I mean, speaking of legacy, so for Maybelline, right? The Maybe It's Maybelline jingle. We actually just brought it back with Miley Cyrus, where she actually included it in a song. And then the ask now to like people, you know, is make some content, just do Maybe It's Maybelline, make it yours, make the jingle yours, and you can enter to win to be in a commercial. I can't say which commercial because apparently like we're
you
not
can't
allowed to
say.
say that.
Wow.
But it's a legit one next
Legit.
year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like super legit.
And what do I need to do to get my entry to the top? Of
Dude,
the
all you need to do is just
Win.
Maybe it's Maybelline, and then and like
Just like that.
dude, like we do it together.
Yeah.
I may disqualify you though. You know, so maybe don't do it with me.
Got it,
and then
got
you
it.
just need to like hold the product up.
That's
you know,
wild.
show us some love.
I love
I
that
I
idea.
feel like you have nice eyelashes, so maybe you
know,
are
I'm told
using
that
this
a
new
lot,
bubble
actually.
thing because you know I think it's gone viral.
Yeah, very nice.
Legitimately.
Very nice. Well, I'm
Yeah.
very excited because my skin regimen is going to absolutely go to next level, thanks to Adam and his colleagues.
Yeah.
Next
I'm saying
level.
that right. Next level.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. This
Yeah.
is great. I love the idea of inviting the community in
Yes.
to co-create. Because going back to Barbara's point about entrepreneurship and imagination and all of these amazing things, happy accidents occur because you're bringing in people and you're basically outsourcing the creative talent, which is genius to do.
And
in a
what
way
I
to
think is
disrupt.
also just talking to you for a half an hour, however long we've been here,
Yep.
it sounds like such an amazing place to work.
Yeah.
I
It is.
mean,
Yeah.
because it sounds like creativity, fun,
Yep.
this kind of stuff. That's
Yeah.
what it's about.
It's
and that's
so
what
fun.
beauty and these products should be
It's
about,
so
right?
fun.
It's so
I mean,
fun.
the brand building, the product innovation.
Very cool.
You know, it really is amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, personally, I love the French culture. I didn't realize, but I guess as a philosophy guy, it makes so
Going
much
back.
sense. You know?
See how we did that?
Well, no, but I mean, like the reality is like the French culture with like the productive debating,
Yeah.
right? So taking a cool idea, a clever idea,
Yes.
and like you know, really putting it through the ringer. The same way if you're an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
right? It's like,
Yeah.
well,
I
you're
wanna-
you're telling a lot of people about this idea, and you're trying to filter.
Yeah.
You know, like what do I do? What advice do I really take?
Right.
Because that person didn't really know what they were talking about.
Right,
you know?
right.
Pressure
test.
You
this
pressure
stuff,
test
right?
it, yeah, and it's amazing to go
the
back and
cr-
forth.
And we're in an attention economy, and now people care about all these brands. This is
It's beautiful.
Right.
And sir,
And if you want to be a part of a storm,
Storm.
right? Ooh,
Oh
it's
my God.
Brandstorm.
This
Not
guy-
L'Oreal.
okay. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
where I was going right now. I was going to thank you for joining us and asking you to remind our listeners once more
Yep.
where they should go to keep up with all of this great stuff you're talking about.
Yes. Brandstorm.L'Oreal.com.
Nice.
That's where you go. That's where you
go.
sign up.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And where do I sign up to be your personal intern so that you get the Paris?
We could chat about that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
We'll
cool.
do that offline.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
This is exciting.
Well,
This is awesome.
thanks again. That's all we have time for today. We'd like to thank our producers, Aaron Tran and Marissa Renna. Thank you all for listening today. We'll be back next week. Till then, this has been Marketing Matters on the Wharton Podcast Network. I'm Barbara Kahn, here with Americus Reed.